How surprised were you that the Heat won?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised they won it all. They deserve to be here. I know everybody's thinking that they don't deserve to be here because they don't have a quote-unquote superstar. But they play hard. They play for one another. They don't care who gets the credit. And they did take down and dismantle the number one seed, the MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year. They did do that. They beat a young and up-and-coming Celtics team 4-2. This is a very well-coached team. They play hard. They play discipline. But the Lakers, Skip, this was a tale of basically the first and the final of the fourth quarter. When you turn the ball over 10 times in the first quarter and your opponent turns it over 3 times, you turn the ball over 5 times in the fourth quarter and your opponent turns it over 1 time, you're probably going to lose that game because you're always digging uphill. And give them credit, Skip. I think they were 11 of 17 in the final quarter in shots. So even though you're playing hard, they're still making shots. And so LeBron, if you were to ask LeBron say, this one's on me, I'm going to take this one because I know I can't have 8 of the 20 turnovers. I know I can't do that. And Jimmy Butler, I needed to skip. It's not so much the 40 points because, yeah, guy gets hot, you can live with that. But he got other people involved. He had 13 assists. And so now, Skip, look, we know what Bam is. But they're a different team. They might be a better team because listen, let me explain. If you think about it, when you got Bam is not a three-point threat. So Dwight Howard can camp out or AD can camp out under the basket, challenge shots. But when you got Olynyk and when you got Miles Leonard, who has three-point range, now Jimmy gets to work one-on-one. He gets you in a switch. He'll get Caruso, or he'll get Rondo, or he'll get a KCP or Kuzma one-on-one. Who's going to be there to challenge him? Dwight's at the perimeter trying to guard Miles Leonard. So is AD. So they are a different team because all 5 of the guys on the court are three-point viable. And that's something.
So, wait, did you just suggest the Miami Heat are better with Kelly Olynyk in the starting lineup?
He gives them a different flavor than what Bam has. Skip, I believe that because he can open up the court, Olynyk and Miles Leonard, look at what they do. Dwight Howard only played about 13 minutes last night. Why is that? Because the three-point shot, Bam is not going to shoot the three. This is not a knock on him, Skip. It's just like, so let me ask you a question. So why did they go small against the Houston Rockets? Is Marcus Morris better than Dwight Howard, better than JaVale? No. But it gives them a different lineup, and so you have to play accordingly. Am I going to be surprised eventually if they don't gravitate towards Morris? Because without Bam, Dwight really doesn't give you the bang for your buck that you need because they bring him outside of the paint, and Jimmy Butler and these guys get to go one-on-one. So the lanes are open. Give the Miami Heat credit. They made shots because Rondo put them up by 2. And still, they didn't go away. They made shots. They executed their offense. So give them credit. The question was, am I surprised the Lakers lost this game? No, I didn't predict a sweep. I didn't anticipate a sweep. But I do anticipate them not winning another game.
Okay, I would ask you to go back and see how much Kelly Olynyk played in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs because it's almost none.
I know, but Skip, you have to understand, though. Sometimes it's about matchups. And you look at how much Marcus Morris was playing. He wasn't playing much, but in the Houston series, he provided huge dividends. You can't look at a guy and say, well, he didn't play much, but look at what he's doing now.
Oh. Okay, my turn. Was I surprised? No, I wasn't. I was shocked. This was the biggest single game upset in the history of the NBA Finals. And it ain't even close.
No, sir.
Show me another one. I'll give you. Okay, I got it. It's my turn. Game 1 was a 12-point difference, said the odds makers. But it was Allen Iverson and Dikembe Mutombo, and they went off on the Lakers, who had destroyed everybody they had played. They didn't take Philly seriously. Game 1 at Staples, Allen Iverson scored 48, and Mutombo had 13, 16, and 5 block shots. Whole different ball game. Let's look at the Heat, shall we? Let's look at who have they lost? Who was Goran Dragic? What had happened through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs? Goran Dragic was their leading scorer at 21 a game. He's out, and I assume he is gone with a torn plantar across the bottom of his foot. They keep saying, well, maybe he'll come back. No, he's not coming back with a torn plantar. Then who else did they lose? The guy you discount, Bam. What is Bam to them? He is, number one, their leading rebounder, number 2, their leading shot blocker, and number 3, above all, he leads the Miami Heat in playoff assists. So all 4 categories that matter the most, they have lost their 2 top people, which leaves them Jimmy Butler, who's had games in the playoffs of scoring 6 points, 13 points, 14 points. He's not a prolific scorer. He doesn't really like to score. He's not a great shooter, and he is no 3-point shooter. And last night, how many threes did he take? None, which is why he had the single greatest triple-double, 40-point triple-double in NBA playoff history, because LeBron had one, but it was in Game 5 of 2015. They got blown out in Game 5, so I'm going to discount that one. And Jerry West had one in 1969 in the closeout game against the Celtics, but they lost. They only lost by 2, but I'm going to slightly discount that one because Jimmy Butler was the whole show last night. He took the weight of the Heat world on his shoulders, and he refused to lose that game. He outplayed head-to-head LeBron James. He outwilled LeBron James. He out-trash-talked, as Jenny pointed out, LeBron James. And in the end, he even outlasted LeBron James, because I believe that Jimmy Butler is in even better physical condition than your man LeBron James. I've never seen anything like it. He's playing 45 minutes a game, and he is guarding the king. He's playing both ends as hard as he can go, and it looked like the other night in what was it, Game 2, looked like he had turned his ankle so badly that, Game 1, that I didn't think he'd be around for the next couple of games. So he's got a tender ankle, and he played LeBron head-to-head. Most of the time, he took him. And some of the time, LeBron tried to take Jimmy Butler, especially down the stretch. And it just didn't work because he was wheeling and dealing. He was getting whatever he wanted, but they're all 2-point shots. They're all in the paint kind of shots. They're all little trick shots underneath. They're all getting to the foul line kind of shots. And he just said, I will put this team on my back and I will carry it to a do or die win, because if you go down 3-0, you're probably cooked unless it's this team's character is so good they could come back from 3-0. But I sincerely doubt it, because they are supremely overmatched.
You're going to come back from 2-1?
We'll find out, won't we?
No, you want to put some dew on it?
No, I don't. Okay. I don't, because what did I just call it? The greatest single game upset. It's not even close. This wasn't Allen Iverson and Mutombo. This is Jimmy Butler and nobody. Do you realize Tyler Hero is in the starting lineup now? He is 20 years of age. He is the youngest player ever to start an NBA Finals game. Youngest ever. And I'm looking at Kelly Olynyk. Are you serious? You should be ashamed of what your people did last night, because LeBron, number 1, that was a shameful performance by LeBron James, especially in the fourth quarter, especially.
So in other words, when you said this was the greatest upset meaning nothing was accomplished, this wasn't a miracle on the ice, this wasn't Mike Tyson losing to Buster Douglas.
Okay, we're talking about in the NBA playoffs or the finals, right?
So Lakers go on and win. Will you remember this?
Yeah. I will, because it's impossible. They should have swept.
No, they shouldn't have.
When you take away Bam and Dragic, are you kidding me?
Hold on.
Leading scorer, leading rebounder, leading shot blocker, leading assist.
So these other guys don't get paid, huh?
Well, they get paid, but they're not. They're just guys. You know it, and I know it. And last night, look at the starting lineup. Look what happened. Jay Crowder was 2 of 8 from 3. How about Duncan Robinson, 3 of 10 from 3? How about Tyler Hero, 6 of 18 from the floor? It's not good enough. You should have lost this game by 20.
Well, when you turn the ball over, Skip, you turn the ball over 10 times in the first quarter, you're probably setting yourself up. And like you said about the Philly situation and the Lakers didn't take Philly serious. They came out there, and then they realized, like, oh, y'all came to play. Well, this Lakers team understands that when you don't, and when you turn the ball over like they did, when you shoot the ball as poorly as they did, this team is trying to win a game. They believe, Skip, They believe that they belong, and that's a dangerous man.
I believe only one guy really believes he belongs, and it's Jimmy Butler.
I think he convinced them other guys, too. I think he got them guys convinced also. Skip.
Okay, so at the end of the first quarter, says Jimmy Butler, we didn't get this from LeBron. LeBron, according to Jimmy, said to Jimmy, you guys are in trouble. Because clearly they jump out to, 22-9 lead?
Yeah.
And here came the Lakers roaring back. And suddenly I look up and the game is tied.
Well, Kuz,
right?
Remember right at the end of the first quarter, Skip, LeBron passes to Kuz. Kuz hits a three-point shot. So it's 23-26. After being down 13 late in the first quarter.
Okay.
And I guess that's what Jimmy is talking about when LeBron looked at it and said, you know y'all in trouble, right?
Okay. And I don't doubt that LeBron said that. I don't have an issue with LeBron saying that because that's the way you step on somebody's throat psychologically.
Right.
You know you're in trouble, don't you?
Right.
And the point was, Jimmy Butler kept saying, no, we're not in trouble.
No,
he went
right
back until he finally made that driving shot with 1:15 seconds. It was not an easy shot off the glass.
It wasn't.
And
he made some tough shots last night.
A lot of tough shots, and he got up to the free throw line with a lot of tough drives. And after he made the shot with 1:15 left, he walks. There he is walking back saying, they're in trouble, they're in trouble, they're in trouble. And he's basically trying to tell his teammates, you got to follow me because I'm not afraid of them, and you shouldn't be afraid of them. Okay?
But you know what's happening. You know it's over, right?
Well, it should have been over last night.
No, it shouldn't. No.
I mean, that was just shameful.
No, look. See, this is what you do, and I see, and I think everybody else sees it. If they sweep them, you minimize it. See, they got swept. If they don't go longer, Michael Jordan would have never done this because what you're trying to do is you're trying to play two sides of it, but I won't let you.
Two sides of it?
Yes.
All I know is the Miami Heat lost their two best players, and you're trying to make a case there. LeBron said after the Friday night game, this is a great team. And I'm like, stop it. A great team?
Yeah.
It's the worst finals opponent you've ever had, LeBron James, by far.
Yes.
Okay.
Skip, I think sometimes we look at it and you think, well, this guy doesn't have gaudy stats. Or we look at a football team and it's like, well, they don't have a Brady, they don't have an Aaron Donald, they don't have a Mahomes. And you look at them. But Skip, you have to understand a team, when you can get a group of guys to believe, and I believe that Jimmy is no question the heartbeat of their team. He and Bam, and they do a good job. They always speak about culture. When you can convince 7, 8, 10 other guys that if you do it this way, good things can happen. And for whatever reason, Skip, he's had he's gone to a lot of places and they didn't want to buy in. But he found a place that they're willing to buy in. Chicago was ready to move on. Minnesota was ready to move on. Philly made a conscious decision. We'd rather have Tobias Harris than Jimmy Butler. And Miami welcomed him with open arms. Skip, this is a perfect landing spot because they're the perfect type of guys for Jimmy Butler. Because when you look at him, you're like, Tyler Hero, who the hell is Tyler Hero? Kelly Olynyk, Duncan Robinson, Myers Leonard, Jay Crowder. Perfect. Those are the kind of guys that Jimmy Butler needs. Blue-collar lunch pails, not no superstar. Oh, I want to just go be my team. I want to be the face of the league. Everybody, these are the type of guys.
Okay, and I told you 3 weeks ago, we did some top 30 list.
Yes.
I guess we're dealing with Luka. We're just Luka ranked.
Right.
And I went 10 deep. And I forgot Jimmy Butler. I would put him somewhere between 20 and 30.
Right.
But the point is, do I want him in my playoff foxhole? Right. Yes. I picked Miami to upset Boston in the conference finals. Only because I tweeted this, only because of that guy, Jimmy Butler, because he's got winner intangibles and they thrive on them. He's not even their best player. I think Bam all around is their best player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? So he's a cog, but he is the cog when it comes to psychology, intangibles, and rub-off effect.
Right.
They all follow him.
But Skip, you mentioned about clutch time. You look at the way they execute down the stretch. You look at what they did against Boston down the stretch. You look at what they did against the Lakers down the stretch. Even though the Lakers had come all the way back, had taken a lead by 2 points. And you look, the next situation, they make every shot. From that point on, they seemed like they made every shot down the stretch. They couldn't miss. And when they missed, they got the rebound or Jimmy Butler went to the foul line.
That is correct. And I told you going in, if they could even hang to the last 5 minutes and be within 5, they have a shot because they execute their plays and then they execute you.
Right.
That's how they play basketball.
And if you look, another thing, if you're going to have 19, 20 turnovers, whatever you have, and you're only a +6 in rebounding, you know the Lakers normally dominate. And the teams that can play close, if you look at the games they lost, what did they do? They turned the ball over against Portland. Portland was right there in the rebounding category. You look at Houston. What did Houston do? Right there, turn them over, right there to rebounding. You look at the Nuggets, the games that they took, what did they do? They turned them over, right there to rebound. If you're going to hang with the Lakers, because they pride themselves on second chance points, and then the Lakers got crushed, what they normally do to other people, crush them in second chance, in paint points.
Okay. And
Miami crushed them.
Yeah, but Jimmy said after the game, the key was we rebounded with them.
Yes.
Well, they came within 6, but I guess he's just saying we didn't get crushed.
We didn't get like 20.
Right.
We didn't get beat by 14 like we did the other night.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so what happened in the biggest picture last night was that really, in truth, this team goes as Anthony Davis goes scoring the basketball. He gets in early foul trouble, and he couldn't find a rhythm.
Nope.
He couldn't seem to get in sync because he'd be in the game and then out of the game for a long stretch. And he'd come back in, and he wasn't warmed up, and he'd try, and then he'd miss, and then he'd say, maybe this isn't my night.
Right.
And he was basically out of it the whole game. And once he gets off his rhythm and out of it, they really struggle to score.
Right.
In the half court.
He opens the court.
Okay.
And Skip, the thing is that he can't be aggressive because what did he get? He got 2 charging calls. So now I got to be apprehensive if I, and they know this. It's kind of like with Jokic's situation when they was playing the Lakers, Skip.
Yeah.
He got in foul trouble early, and it seems like little ticky-tack stuff, and they called it, and then you're like, man, you on the court, as you mentioned, you're on the court for a minute, and next thing you know, you're heading right back to the sideline. But you watch tomorrow night, you watch this team, you watch the focus and the determination in which they play with. You know it's so because the last time there have been 3 guys that trash talked the Lakers. You remember what Dame did? He got stupid. He hit that 3. He got done with it. Russ, he got to get out of, And what did Jamal do? He did a little shimmy. Jimmy talk. It's over, Skip.
Okay, but Jimmy's different than those other guys.
Okay.
He's mentally tougher than the other guys.
Now, Russ
he
is
just
really
doesn't
tough.
have enough help. So, again, should the Lakers win the next game by 20? Yes, they should. But the truth is, LeBron James owes his team off the fourth quarter last night because Rondo made a shot up off the top of the glass.
I don't know how that went in.
I don't know how it went in, but it did.
It did.
And it was 91-89, your guys, with 8:46 left in the game. And then could we see what happened to LeBron in the fourth quarter with, there's the shot that went in. I don't know how this went in either.
I mean, it literally, like when they said the top of the backboard, it literally went on top of the backboard.
Yeah, okay. Then here goes LeBron. He starts to, well, we're still seeing the shot. Okay, now we're to LeBron, and these are his fourth quarter turnovers. There's the first one that was off him, and then here's the second one. This is, he just lost the ball, but they called walking on him. Yep, a travel. And then here's the next one, another cross-court pass, not smart. And then here's the last one, and it's going to be, Olynyk got him.
Yeah.
Kelly Olynyk stole the ball from LeBron James.
Right.
Okay, to me, your mind is not locked in on the game. Maybe you're still thinking about the Cowboys-Browns game. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're not taking them seriously enough. And then the other problem was I still thought the Lakers, with 8:45 left, had taken over the game again. But LeBron went 0 for 3 from 3. And these are huge shots if we could see them, because any one of these goes in, we might be having a 3-0 conversation right now.
Yep. That's his shot right there. That's his shot right there, too.
Yeah, they just, excuse me,
and then,
left it wide open.
and Kuzma point-blank putback missed it.
Yeah, that's wide open miss.
Those are his shots.
They're his shots. If he makes one of these, it could be a whole different story. And that one's pretty much uncontested.
Right.
Okay, so it's one of those nights you travel, you turn it over, you get your pocket picked by a 6'11" guy from behind. It's no good. It's embarrassing for him. I expect him to roar back the next game because he does owe his team. And yet I don't expect Jimmy Butler to go away.
Skip, at some point in time, guys are just going to have to knock down shots. KCP, Danny Green, Skip, I mean, this is like 3 games in a row that KCP has shot a shot from the side and hit the corner of the backboard.
Yeah.
Or hit the top of the backboard.
Okay, but now you're talking like a spoiled Laker fan because guess who you got off the bench last night? You got 4 of 8 threes from Kyle Kuzma. You got 5 of 11 threes from Markieff Morris. Well, if you told me that before the game, I'd say you win by 20.
Well, no.
That's 9 threes from the bench.
But Skip, but the thing is that your starters, I mean, you look at, you got 2, 4, and 5. You got 11 points from 3 starters.
Okay.
And you look at what they got. They got 40, 17, 13, and 12 from their starters.
Okay, but it wasn't like you got blown off the court from the three-point line because they shot 35% and you shot 33%.
Right.
So it's pretty close.
Well, sometimes, Skip, 3-point shots is not all about the volume. It's when you make those threes. Because when the game, when, you're up 2 and you get an opportunity to go up 5, or you're down 1, you get an opportunity to go up 2, that's your opportunity. And they had some great looks. The shot's just not falling. And we've seen the Lakers go in little lulls like this, Skip, and this is what was concerning. It's not like they got knocked down, dropped down, knockout shooters. That's not what they have. They got guys that are streaky. And if they get hot, they can hit 4 or 5 of those things in a row. Danny Green can get hot and give you 5 made threes. KCP can get hot and give you 5 to 6 made threes. And that's what but Anthony Davis was he couldn't be aggressive because he was in foul trouble. But you watch Tuesday night, got something for you.
Okay. You will be a double-digit favorite on Tuesday night.
I don't care what we're going to be. We're going to be.
And that shapes up as if the Heat win again, this will be the greatest upset single game in NBA Finals history if they win Game 4.
It's only going to be an upset if they beat the Lakers 3 more times. I don't do the individual upset, the upset within the upset. I don't do that.
Well, it should have been a sweep.
No, it should not have been.
Yeah.
Well, the Clippers should have been there. The Clippers should have been there.
Yeah.
Well, and what happened?
Well, if the Clippers had been there in the Western Finals, then you wouldn't be here in the finals.
Did they have a Western Conference Finals?
Yep.
So did they prohibit? Did they boycott? Did they boycott the Western Conference Finals? Okay, so they didn't.
Is that all you got?
I just asked you a question, Skip. Yep. I just asked you a simple question.
LeBron James owes his team for the 4th quarter of Game 3.
Listen, we got this. I just want to know what your guy owed the Clippers after that performance in the 4th quarter against the Nuggets.
Dearly departed.
They departed. When we got something, Jimmy, Skip, let's not minimize what we saw last night with Jimmy.
Yep.
The 40 and the 13, that's very impressive.
Well, it's a one-man show.
Well, it's very impressive. You can give up 40, but you can't let him get other guys involved.
Yep.
And he got other guys involved.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.